Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to episode 52 of Series the Fortress by the Sea. Today we have a really great plan ahead of us, because I don't think that there will be much time needed until I am capable of getting the work on the pump stack started. I'm very positive that I can really get started with this project truly today. And that's a really big thing because there have been lots of preparations for this. This entire tower has been a harsh mistress. I've had to whip in floors on every one of these levels. We're preparing now the walls for all these, and this is far from being done, but we are by now getting to the point where I am able to start working on the real pump stack, because we only need to fill up the last pieces of wall here, which will be, in all honesty, not much. It's really pretty fast done, and after that we can finally get started with that. The best thing to point out here is that the actual pump stack itself is really not that much work. It's possibly the fastest thing that we're going to get done in this entire freaking project, but you cannot build a pump stack without a proper casing. That's at least my opinion. I just feel a little bit weird about this screw pump not being constructed, so we're going to set up a new one. Who knows, maybe one of the building materials requested has had a weird bug run-in. You never know. So, let's see. I think I had the wrong priority on these. Yes. Always important to have a high priority on your tasks, otherwise they won't get done. Speaking about getting things done, the best part about today's episode for me is that we have a all-time low of work orders here. I know it doesn't look like it, but these few walls here should be done in no time, compared to the lengthy work on the floors in between the levels, because that was a lot more. That was just a lot more. I'm also very careful here with the deconstruction of this entire place, but I do have an idea how we could speed up things, but then again it would also make things more dangerous. A musical instrument. Okay. Whatever. You keep that. Instruments are one of the parts of Dwarf Fortress which I technically know how to do them, but I always procrastinated endlessly because I don't like the process of finding out how the instruments in the world that I'm living in are working. But probably I should one day get closer to that. There is also a mod out there which allows you to just have a standardized set of instruments, so you don't have to work with all those procedurally generated instruments anymore. I feel like this idea with those procedurally generated instruments is all nice and dandy, but in practice, it turns out to be quite a slog and quite annoying to deal with, but it's not as terribly difficult as it feels like. Wow, that is a lot of block there. Hope nothing fell into the ocean here. Nah, they're taking care of it carefully. Alright. We'll have to repeat this entire ordeal on this side. So one thing that we might already do would be the water generator. So we go 4 walls over here. Then we go for a ram after the second one. There. And 1, 2, 3 ahead. Some starting to build the water generator's footprint here already a little bit up, because why not start with this piece of work already? We have no... I have no doubts that this design is okay. There it goes. Then it only needs the block here, but I want to get that block done later, and then we're going to start working on the things that I know that they are so far working out. I hope I won't regret that decision. Often just assuming that things are right, but we'll see about that. At the same moment, I have no clue why everything else is more important than the screw pump. I'm a little bit terrified at this point that there might be some error in my work, but tell you what, we're going to construct ourselves another staircase here, or do I? It could be that it's not getting accessed only because it happens to be logistically the worst connection compared to all the other jobs that need to get done first. I don't know how this system does assign the jobs. If it does have any preference for distances, then this job up there is the least attractive one, because it is really pretty nasty, because you need to pick up stuff here, go all the way over there, then you need to go 10 levels high, and then over there. Every other connector is way more direct right now. And they're just stockpiling the mats there. Whatever. Could it be worse? Could it be worse? Alright. So there's still a terrible lot of work on the tabs, obviously. But I'm really wondering about why the screw pump doesn't get done. I hope that this would have seen some expedition once we... Or this would have gone faster. Well, words. This would have gone faster after I opened the hatches, but it didn't. It didn't, sadly. Anyways, let's place down a couple of altars into these dreary temples. I mean, seriously. It hardly looks like a temple if you don't have a couple of altars, no? How should anybody notice that it is a temple after all? So these two temples here have the same issues. I did notice one thing. Koganaros is not a very religious fortress. I've had fortresses where we had way more requests for grand temples than I like. We only have one grand temple, if I remember correctly, and that was a Vukar one. Big surprise. And yeah, I think this was the one. Yeah. It's a beaut. I really like that one. Alright. So the longer I play this game, the more willing I become to make nice looking things for the places I build. Okay. By the way, that's a very, very high level of satisfaction here happening. I think I should really construct that staircase here. Let's do this. This will help us out a lot in the construction of this whole thing. Although it would be better if, since I have the room to work with here, we're just going to put the staircase here. I did realize when I did some thinking between this and the last episode that the ubiquitous amount of space here is going to be actually quite good, because that means I can design this whole beast according to my needs, and that also means that I have plenty of room for this little maintenance stairwell, which will make the construction of that pump a lot easier. Maybe that's all that's blocking them right now. You never know. Dwarves are not bunch. There we go. That's better. I mean, these iron altars, they aren't too much here. Whoa. Forbid that. They aren't too much value-wise. They aren't too strongly decorated or anything. But at least now you notice that you're standing in front of a temple. I really don't like it if temples are no temples. You get my idea. So, I did engrave that already. Okay. So sad that there is no sprite for a engraved block wall. It's making me always sad. Vanilla really should improve on its tiles a little bit more. It's pretty good where it is at right now, but it could be a lot better with, for example, varying images when you're engraving. Heck, we could even, it would be so cool if we'd be able to select what we're engraving. Like if there'd be, I don't know, lots of little images that you can engrave somewhere and we get to select which ones we do. That would be amazing. Because I'm a big fan of decorating my fortresses and making them look nice and think about how they would have their things there. So basically like a dollhouse for bearded men. But I loved Dwarf Fortress. There we go. And slowly, this pillar is standing in the ocean. Ow, it's hovering above the ocean. I'm cheating here. I don't know how to build into the ocean for real. That's one thing that hounds me a little bit, in all honesty. I didn't want to get up with the question for that as well, though, because that really felt like something that would have blocked me from doing this entire series, and that would have been sad. And as far as I know, draining an ocean to build deep into it is one of the more complicated things in Dwarf Fortress, to put it into friendly words. I've seen a lot of things, but I still have to master the magma piston, stuff like that. So, what is... Oh, alright. So you're starving, my friend, because you're also you're also on the in the museum. He's going to die with those artifacts. He felt lonely. All right. I hope somebody will get him out here quite quickly. Jeez, how annoying. I don't know how often these windows have been smashed and rebuilt already. Tell you what, we're going to build a door in here now. A maintenance door. Forbidden for most of the time. Let's do this like that. That's one thing I love about DFHack as well again. Because without DFHack, we would have found out about this little fella after he died. I mean, to some degree, it's also ridiculous points when something happens, but sometimes you just feel like having these jokes on you. Oh, they want to parlay, so they want one of my artifacts, eh? I'm gonna tell them where they can stick that parlay request. So, the loss of life, yeah, yours maybe. So, let's check the Goblin invaders. What's going on with your friends? They're coming up from this border. So, time to split some skulls. So, there should be no more entrance anymore from this angle, so I'm gonna station my military here and watch the gobs and see where they head. There we go. Let's follow their camera. It's a pretty easy way of seeing what happens. Alright, he's feeling uneasy after seeing the dead bodies of his brethren. Huh. Surprising. I don't know. He didn't feel anything anymore. Ah, it's just like home, I get it. So let's get on over to these guys. Yeah, it's a pretty substantial amount of gob. So let's move over to the Freedom Squad. Okay, so this is one of the larger battles so far. There's a steady stream of goblins pouring onto our brave fighters. One of our... What's going on here? Ah, the green one is the martial trance. So we have a couple of... oh god, 6 of them are in martial trance. So yeah. We're at the poor goblins point of this whole thing. Yeah, our dudes are just steamrolling over them, and I think I just saw this foot and hand fly. So yeah. We could have averted this loss of life. God. It's been a pretty large strike force. But good part about Dwarf Fortress is it is ridiculously easy to fight back the goblin invasions. I don't know. Usually I feel bored by this when games go like that. But with the insane complexity of the simulation itself of Dwarf Fortress, I didn't feel bad about it in any way. It's just like more like a fun thing that keeps happening from time to time, and yeah, I would wish for more combat threats in the game, but it would be pretty cool if that would be something like an optional challenge that you could put onto yourself. Because I do like where the combat is at right now. Because it just feels darn right that one legendary fighter is capable of splitting the skulls of 30 to 50 goblins before he gets overwhelmed because he gets tired. He's not going to die because these little blokes are able to match his combat prowess. He's going to die because he gets exhausted from killing. And that's just a very, very cool thing. That's how I imagine dwarves in fantasy. You know, that's just very fitting. That's how they go. They will lose because there's just too many gobs. Not because the gobs are stronger than them, of course. So, yeah. I really sincerely hope that this doesn't change too much, but at this point, my squad would be easily capable of bullying around trolls and most lost forgotten beasts the same way. And I feel like that's where legendary fighters are probably a little bit too strong. Just an idea. We'll see about that. Alright, so some of my animals have been missing. Did they fall into the water or something? I don't know. What I do know is that I see the last bits and bobs of wall getting completed here, which means we are ready to pump stack. That is grand news. But I did expect to get it done today. Alright. We're also removing slowly the appendage here, which is also really nice. Whoa, alright. There I thought he'd be finishing the job. Let's not create another death trap. Okay. Now to the mystery of that screw pump. I mean, seriously. This should get done at some point. Alright, but I'm relieved. The construction, the strain, the burden, the stress of this entire pillar here, we're done with it. 47 of 198 people are not too pleased about what's happening in Cogan-Ross. That's only a quarter, or you could say that's almost a quarter. But, well, grand things demand grand sacrifice. I just would like to know why that pump is not getting built here. That's something that's plaguing me right now a little bit. So we'd need another gear assembly here. And then it needs to connect towards here. An elven caravan has arrived. So these ambushers the other day, you want to tell me that they weren't connected with these incidents? Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I don't know what to do about this. I'm very tempted to just take my squads and cleave their skulls, but we're just going to do a very dwarven thing. We're going to ignore them stoically and just walk past them and shaking heads and just pretending like we can't believe that they actually got the guts to go here once more. Anyways, let's check back with that workstation here. Making fine progress. Good. So it's clear for me by now that something must be off with these construction orders here. Somehow. Let's see, is somebody assigned to these tasks? We should have way less tasks than before now. So there's a lot of storing tasks. Okay. Constructing buildings. That job is... yeah, well, okay. Okay, maybe it's just a hauling storm that is slowing us down here. Maybe. But it is, again, for me, a little bit symptomatically that this one here is seeing work, and this one still hasn't been picked up. Kind of weirding me out, man. Oh, well. So, let's get started. This has to be a ramp. Luckily, we got so many stairways that I can freely manipulate whatever I want to here. It's just no problem. So we're going to remove the whole construction part here entirely, because we just don't need anything here anymore. Here's going to be a ramp, and here's going to be a hole. The ramp to... I think it required a floor, didn't it? I vaguely remember that the ramp didn't get touched before the floor was done. So let's try a last time without that weird planner. So we're taking from the hole and pumping it out there. So no excess. Now we're talking. So there is supposedly no access to this place? That's nonsense. Alright, my furnace operator is throwing a tantrum. So, I really don't understand why there's no access for that. I mean, is that generally? No. So... okay. So, I really got no clue why there should be no access when we can just crawl up here and carry the things to here. So there must be a different reason for that issue. That's for sure. Because otherwise we would be able to do this. So let's just try and see what happens here. So here we have the same no access problem. Although here it's pretty clear we do lack a piece of floor to put the thing onto. So we do put a piece of floor here. So probably the power transmission must be on a certain spot of the pumps of the screw pump. That could be the other option, so we can find that out. We're doing some science here, after all. So we're going to put up another gear assembly here, and it becomes clear that we do need mechanisms up here as well. Don't want to have my construction people running around for mechanisms all day. They need to get these out of the fortress. They're really far away, so I've learned my fair part about mistakes like these. Not gonna do that again. We're just going to slap a fetch order there, and that's that. They're going to get the mechanisms up there where we need them. Alright, that problem has been resolved. So, let's see. There will be here another gear wheel assembly. And then we're going to put another floorboard on the other side. And then we'll see if that'll work out. I mean, we can encase this entire mechanics part and completely. As long as these gear wheels still work when they're submerged in water, I don't care about anything here. But I really don't know what we're getting ourselves into at the same time. It's, to me, the first time that I build a pump stack that creatively, my pump stacks usually were dwarf powered. But since these things, they're supposed to run all day, that doesn't work out. Well, but at least there is no more other things diverting us now from that nice project, except for a tantruming Vukar. It's very, very... Well, Vukar's angry, I suppose? I don't know. He's definitely the local spooky guy. That's the only thing I know for sure. Alright. It could be that the floor tile has to be on a certain spot for the whole construction to work out. I'm not that experienced with these matters yet, but we'll see about that. Alright, so we got the ramp, and we got the open space there. Okay. Gonna be building the walls around that another time. So we have now the open space available there. And let's see. Now I can select things. Alright, so that means the intake spot of the water pump needs to stand on solid ground. And the output can hang in the air. So here I did it exactly the wrong way again. I need to have a piece of floor then here, because we're going to take in the water from this hole and pump it towards there. Alright, so pump stacks are, in the first moment, very terribly complicated, but they're actually not. They're pretty okay. As soon as you got behind the first bumps and hitches, but there is an anger spiral going on here. So this guy wants to fight. Could resolve that. This guy wants to pray to Doran. Say, I don't have that temple. No, obviously not. So, well, turns out we really need to do something about these problems here, because it's slowly escalating over the course of the previous episodes. As much as I do think it is a fun thing to see that the exertions of this work are starting to put a wear and tear on the dwarves here, but at the same time I think we should try to satisfy the needs of these people a little bit more, to avert some unnecessary crisis. So we have a goal for the next episode already, because sadly, I have to outro already again. I really am happy that we're finally beginning with the actual engineering part. I am more and more considering calling this project a completed one once we are done with one of these aqueduct pillars. I don't know what has ridden me to go for two of these. I'll take that as a lesson to keep things smaller next time. This is something that I could have avoided. Either way, it's time to ask for comments if you have any. I really hope to hear back from you. And feel free to leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and thanks for being around here. Thanks to the supporters of the channel. Feel free to check out Patreon, PayPal, and buy me a coffee. If you'd be so kind, that'd make me very, very happy. And what also makes me very happy is knowing that you are right now listening to this. I want to thank you for hanging out this long, because these videos are nothing without people like you, because the best content is worthless without somebody watching it. That being said, I hope you have a good time until we meet again. Goodbye.